right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me just tweet it out so everybody can join in here. 1 second, please. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today, and what a day! So Thursday, thankful Thursday. Got a little bit of a reversal at the end of the day today. They kind of pushed things down a little bit. And now we're gonna see how things go going into Friday. We got inflation numbers tomorrow, which everybody's anticipating as being a market mover. So we'll see how that goes. Even the White House commented on it this morning and say, well, when the inflation numbers come out tomorrow, just keep in mind it does include, the energy prices which are going down. That's everything. It's like, oh, so we're gonna have pretty high inflation numbers tomorrow, right? So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, before we get started, so this week, guys, we've been talking about trades in the group, and we're also doing chart requests, of course. So before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So, as always, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off in the market today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, what might be setting up going into tomorrow, and then we'll go through the topic, which is some trades that we pointed out today, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So, let's get started. All right, guys. So SPX, what's going on with this candle right here? So far, this is a monthly chart. All right, so far into December, we're about 1 week into the month, and already we've pushed down off of last month's shooting star candle a little bit, and we've come back in the range to test 50% of the range of the prior candle. So we put a little bit of an upper shadow off of it here today, down about 33 points. So we'll see if they can reclaim this ground. The big thing that I was really tracking going into this week is if we could stay above last week's highs, right? Even though we have a higher, higher low, I still like to show that momentum move, right? So we still have another day to get above it, right? But once we get back into this range, it gets a little bit suspect, right? So it's like once we get back into the prior candle, it's like, okay, maybe it wants to go back and kind of test some of that prior range. And you can see here after today's move, right, we got a red candle off of these levels right here. So this is kind of an interesting area. It might be starting to turn, right? So this is definitely a reversal pattern right here. We closed over yesterday's open, right, and actually below yesterday's low. So we're starting to get a lower low, lower high on the daily chart, right? So there's a little bit of room to the downside here to the ADMA. So that is a possibility. Of course, we got an open gap below, and really, I really needed to see like some nice price action here today to be convinced. Like they really, if they wanted to, they could have pushed this thing up to all-time highs today, right? So I mean, it was just the prior day's candle is just concatenate that and put it over here, right? And it pushes back to the upside, and boom, you've got yourself all-time highs, right? But they just didn't do it here today. So what does that mean? What's going on, right? So is this are we really bullish, right, going into this thing? We talked about at length today on the lunchtime video about news and how it kind of plays in with charts and sentiments and stuff like that. So it's funny. It's like you get a lot of negative news coming out and the market's going up. Well, it doesn't really seem to matter, right? But you get a lot of negative news, market's going down. People think it's important, right? That type of thing. And so it was kind of interesting today. I was really thinking that today was going to be a little bit more bearish than it was because I thought the news that came out this morning was pretty interesting. The fact that Evergrande and Caixa both defaulted on their U.S. debt payments. Their dollar debt payments was a pretty bearish thing, right? But did the market price that in completely? Apparently it did, right? But what type of ramifications are going to come from there? Is China going to just bail them out? That type of thing. So we'll have to see how that goes. But really, ultimately, this is one of the most complex wave counts we've seen, guys, and we've been doing this together here for years, right? And this is the first time I've really seen this type of declining megaphone type formation, right? And then the big breakout right here leads me to believe that this was an initial move down, right? So initial wave one down, and a lot of folks are like, well, you got so many overlapping waves. I know, but it's when it's an ending diagonal or leading diagonal. They can overlap, right? And then they're basically 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? All the way down. And so we get that down here, right? And then we have this A, B, C, and this wave C looks like it was right? If it is a wave C, then we have this A, B, C move right here, and this could just be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see the ending diagonal right here, and that finishes, right, quite possibly wave 2, right? And which was wave C right here, right? So that is very much a possibility up here. And now we're kind of have this little wave 1, wave 2, and it looks like the start of a wave 3 down. So if we do gap down tomorrow, that really could be a signal that, hey, that we are potentially looking at this larger wave down. I'm not saying it's going to happen, right? We've made a lot of bearish counts in the past. I really need to see some impulsive price action on this one, but they could get scary, right? They really could start selling if they really wanted to, especially into the weekend, and they might even do it before everybody's expecting a big Santa Claus rally. They might even do it before Christmas, right? So there's a possibility there. But they've done that before. What was it, back in 2019? I can't remember. It was 2019, 2018. But they flushed it before Christmas, and then right afterward, they ripped it, and it was just ripping. And they did the same thing for New Year's too. So pretty interesting stuff there. We'll see what they have in store. But let's just kind of take each day at a time. Right? The VIX is still hanging out over 20, and even though it's kind of down below a lot of its averages, it's still kind of hanging out there, right, for some potential. So let's see what this has going into tomorrow. Otherwise, we'd have to have some really good news in the morning, gap this thing up, the like inflation cut in half or something like that. But when's that gonna hit the grocery stores, right? So, but if something like that does happen, right, they could gap this thing up, and we could be at all-time highs before you know it, and then everything is awesome, right? So that's the big thing that we're tracking here going into the rest of the week. So, other than that, guys, let's take the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, and looks like we're up about 4 points right now. So just really choppy action here so far. Not really much going on after hours. This is a kind of interesting, right? So the last candle of the day. Here on the 5-minute chart would have been right this last one right here. So we ended up pushing down here at the end of the day, and we're really honestly below that level, right? So they're just kind of going and basing off of the the settlement here so far. So we're up about 5 points here since the open, right? So let's take a look here and just kind of see how things are looking. So at this point now, it does look a little bit maybe could be a little bear flaggish here, right? We got a little bit of a lower level right here, so we're just kind of put that on here, put this on here. I love it. I added a little midpoint to this thing today. So cool. It's so cool. So anyway, so basically we could be flagging here to the downside. If we end up breaking down here, maybe we could be gapping down like 30 points tomorrow morning, and then that could confirm our wave 3 thesis, and then we could be working on wave 3 of 3, or basically I would anticipate as big as wave 3 looks, it's probably wave 3 of wave 1. Right, like, and even like a subwave one, if it's really going to be bearish, right? Because we could see some major selling action if that thing really does come true. So, but we'll see what we got. Like I said, guys, we could have like inflation could be cut in half tomorrow, and they end up gapping this thing up to like way past all-time highs, right? That type of thing. So you never know. But anyway, cool stuff. We'll keep an eye on it and see where we go. But anyway, tonight, guys, we're finishing up this week's series of trades and chart requests. So you guys do the chart requests. I'll show you some trades and a couple ideas that we came up with here today. So really this morning there was a couple quick moves that we pointed out on the live stream this morning. There was AMD, which gave a really sharp move at the open. Very quick momentum move here through the pre-market pivot levels, and gave us a just a quick entry right up here to here. Oh, it's pretty cool with the channel on that. But a quick entry, right, and then just rate stops, take profit, have fun and all that. So Nvidia was another one too. Which also gave a nice momentum candle initially at the open, right? It was running. We talked about this in the lunchtime show. It was running into some pretty big resistance here today. Let me try to show you here on a clear chart. One sec. Yeah, so it just came up. You can see this geometric line right here. It was running right into resistance today on that initial run up this morning. So failed to break to the upside, failed to break out of this geometric line, and then ended up taking the inside day down, right? So that gave us our momentum downside movement here today. And you can see just a nice drop here today on Nvidia. But we liked it for a little bit of a momentum move at the open there today. And then once we started to see all this, right, all these reversal candles, we switched chairs, put on our bear hats, and pointed out IWM. For a nice drop here this morning, and let's go to the actual day here. So it looks like a real day. So IWM we liked on the short side. I really liked this big shooting star candle right here. Right, kind of gave us a nice move, and I really particularly liked how this started to break down right here. So this is a good entry area on this increasing volume candle right here. Give us a little downside movement right here. A good place to take a little bit of profit, and then as long as it held essentially below the ADMA here on the 15-minute chart, which I've got this pulled off right now. There we go. Yeah, as long as it held the ADMA, right, it was good. So it's a nice move right here, right? Notice how we closed above the ADMA right here, declining volume, right? And then we just kind of stayed down here all day on the IWM. Turned out to be a fantastic concept today on that. So those are the big ones that we pointed out today, guys. The other ones, kind of intraday, we looked at Tesla. We tried a little bit of a dip buy on Tesla today, and then we said if it bounced off of the 1040 strike, that we might have a chance, right? And so if you go here, we liked it. It was holding right here. We drew a line right there at the 1040 strike. So I got a little bit of a trade off of that. But once it rejected that, then 1030 was the next level down, and it basically just sat on 1030 between these two zones here all day, right? And then once it lost that with some volume, it was all downhill from there for a very, very nice move for almost a 25-point move on Tesla, right? And this gave a base drop right there. So pretty cool stuff on Tesla. So there's a couple of the names that we were looking at today. Of course, there were other ones too. Into the close, there's a couple names that we looked at. How's Costco doing, by the way? Let's see what it's doing here after hours. Not much. So this is exactly what we were talking about. So we put out 3 lotto ideas today, guys. We're doing some experiments with earnings, trying to use options to help us and things like that. So Costco, we said iron condor on this one. We put an iron condor in this one out 40 points on each end. So we closed it 45.25. So that would put us at the 65s. So basically, all we have to do is close between here. And then we drop down here to what the 85s down here. So basically, at this point now, we just have to close tomorrow or early, whatever. But we could always close it early for for a little bit. But all you got to do is close between here and catch the full premium off of the iron condor. Costco seemed like the one that made the most sense for an iron condor. Some of the big names. The big, crazy names, tech names, stuff like that, usually tend to get big spikes and all that stuff and can kind of really get you nervous in those positions. But if I'm going to sell premium, it's going to be into earnings. It's going to be on a name like Costco, right? So these cost only these were 30 cents credit. So tomorrow, it's not bad, right? 10 lot of those, $300, closing in there, kind of makes a nice little move. So we'll see how it goes. But if I was going to sell premium on anything as an iron condor, it would be the Costco, because even if they had a very, very unexpected miss on earnings, which they never do, because it's Costco. Has anybody ever seen Costco not busy, ever? Right? So except when it's closed. But other than that, it's other than having some sort of freakish loss or something like that, I don't even think. I think even a freakish loss would still be bullish. Everybody would buy the dip on it because welcome to Costco. I love you, right? That type of thing. So we like Costco. We also like Lulu on the long side. So let's see how that's looking right here. It was down. It was down pretty sharply earlier, and it tried to gain a little bit of ground here, but this looks like this is going to end up blah. But we also liked Chewy on the short side, and even Buddy was along with that one. He's like, yeah, he didn't like some of the fundamentals of the company this quarter, so he was okay with that one. He's not happy about it, but it just is what it is. So anyway, this ended up working its way down here too. The 50 strikes, we'll see if those get tested tomorrow. Maybe those could go in the money. So that's 2 out of 3, not too bad. The Iron Condor on Costco, Chewy, and then Lulu for whatever were kind of the ones that we were looking at into the close. Other ones that we looked at today too were AMD. I just think AMD is pretty interesting. There's 2 things that I liked about AMD. One is, wow, look at these little dojis that just kind of moved up on low volume to the ADMA and then rejected here today. So that was another inspiration to the downside. But I also like how it closed with increasing volume below those levels, and it's got room to get to the 50-day and this level right here. So AMD looks interesting too. So other than that, guys, that was kind of a lot of the action today. But other than that, at this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to play those in the chat window. And we'll get through as many as we can, try to wrap as early as possible so we all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So let's see what we got. So Luxarrow, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. We got T-Doc. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, so Kathy Wood had her 1 day of fame yesterday. So she got Roku gapped up for her. T-Doc was up. Everything was looking great. Finally, all the averaging down looked like it was going to pay off. And then, oof. Yeah, so back to shorting Kathy Wood names, right? So poor T-Doc. I believe it closed under yesterday's lows right here. So again, filled the gap. But keep an eye on it. If it does break below today's lows, we could see some more downside on that one. Let's take a look at Tesla. So Tesla down to the 50-day moving average. I feel like people always ask for Tesla just so I can go Tesla. But anyway, pulled back here, filled its little gap, sitting on the 50-day moving average. So if it's gonna bounce, it's got to be this area right here, right? So otherwise, it could turn into a very, very interesting move here for Tesla over the next couple days. We'll see what it has in store for Tesla Friday. And if it's got room here to get to this support level here, which is about the 950 area on Tesla. So it's pretty cool stuff here. But amazing, isn't it amazing how Tesla loves its strikes, right? So right to the $1,000 level on Tesla today, and just kind of hanging out there at the 50-day moving average. So pretty cool stuff there. Tesla. Facebook, tried to push here today. Again, a lot of the social media names had some relative strength this morning. Facebook was a great move yesterday, right? This turned into a fantastic trade yesterday. It started to do it again today, right? Once we got over yesterday's highs, right? We pointed this out for a nice move up, and then it was, and once everything started rejecting the highs, it was just, out. right? That type of thing. So, but a nice move at the open, left a huge upper shadow on this one today. And is that a tweezer on the 60s? Nah, not quite, but pretty cool stuff. So, but anyway, nasty upper shadow here ended up being below the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So, big doji going in tomorrow, which means a big. I have no idea, but it is under the major moving averages there. So we'll see what they have in store for this one. And of course, Lulu. We were thinking this thing was going to gap up, but no go on this one. And so looks like it might gap down tomorrow, but mostly just choppy right here. It's basically at 410 area. So see if it holds overnight. See if it holds this area right here, if we can get back above the the 413 area. Otherwise 410, right? It could work its way back down to 400 and then see if it tries to find some support there on Lululemon. So good stuff. Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate it. And Shirley sent a few in here via email, so let's take a look at these. Oh, guys, LCID was so perfect today. Beautiful drop. This is on our 15 orb radar today. Nice news last night. And I think we profiled this one in the bubble report too. Nice move last night about the offering, and this really just gave just a beautiful breakdown here today. Very, very nice move, right? It tried to get bullish at the open, but look at that. It rejected the pre-market highs, right? Nice upper shadow off of that level, and then it gave us a nice 15 orb right here. Breaks down below the 15 orb, couple tests of it, and then see ya below the 80 MA for the majority of the day. Very, very nice move on that one. So in the meantime, on the daily chart, right, just it's under the 50-day moving average too, so it looks a little bit rough. So again, next level down, probably 34, right? So keep an eye on that for LCID. GME. Yeah, big down move off of earnings here too. This is actually a short idea that we had yesterday as well into earnings. So we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good on these earnings guesses, a little bit better than normal, right? The last time we guessed that was 40%, right? So now we're kind of 60, 65%. So that's not too bad with GameStonk. We had puts on the radar from yesterday, so that was pretty cool. So good stuff there. And then we had RH on the long radar, but wow, those things, those calls, like we were looking at the 700 calls today, those didn't do anything at all today, but the 650s were okay. But big upper shadow on the RH, just on the side there. But Riots, struggling here, double doji down on this one. Very similar, kind of a little rough there with the Bitcoin going down. Unity, another rough name for the Cathie Wood portfolio, but holding that 140 level here ish so far. So we'll see how that goes. And then finally, Coin. This is on my bearish radar tomorrow too. So we're gonna break down below today's lows. Could see some more downside on this as well. So good stuff there. Thanks, Shirley. Thanks, everybody. And J Moss, what's going on? Good evening. Good to see you. So you got Apple on the radar. Let's take a look and see what we got here for Apple. Yeah, Apple with a little bit of a red spinning top up there, upper shadow, so it kind of leaves it a little bit suspect. But we'll see how it goes. Still, definitely, trending up. So see if it has any more strength on that one. But not a huge fan of the candle, but it's a small candle. So maybe if the market is bullish tomorrow, it'll keep going. Bank of America tried to break down below the geometric lines right here, came back in, but still below the 80 MA on that one here too. So a little bit of caution there. And Midas Touch, what's going on? I love it. Let's keep on looking at NVIDIA. So this is a good one. If you're going to track anything, this is a great name to track. One thing I wish about NVIDIA is that I could go back in time on the stock split and just YOLO long, just forever, just get leaps, right? So when was the stock split back here, right? So just YOLO. Let's say we got the January, or let's say we got the December. Let's just look. NVIDIA 21, 12, 17 calls. Let's say we got the December 300 calls on NVIDIA, like as a little bit of a leap after the stock split. And we just loaded up on it. Let's see how that looks right here. So let's see. We would have been good at. We would have been good here. Let's take a look and see. Let's see if we just load it up here. Yeah, we could have been good at like 2 cents or something like that. Yeah, 26 cents, somewhere around here, right? So from 49 cents all the way up to $40. We'll take a 100x trade on NVIDIA any day, and YOLO that, right? YOLO that. So just go crazy on it. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? So anyway, cool stuff there on NVIDIA. But yeah, in the meantime, now we'll just look and see what it's just kind of chopping around here between the levels here below the geometrical. That was a big thing really the other day, right? So we had that inside day. It tried to push above this geometrical line right here, just couldn't get going. And then today, inside day down, right under the 80 MA. So a little bit of caution there. Riot Keeper, what's going on? Good to see you. You got Asan on the radar. Asan, let's take a look. Interesting sandwich here between the 200-day moving average and the 80 MA. So just I guess as long as it stays above the 200 average, right, it can consolidate and kind of get going. So just a rough candle there today on this one. Amazonius blonde broker. Increased volume under the ADMA here today. So a little bit of caution there. I mean, it'll probably be a dip buy, right? But but we'll see. The big thing that we really want to track on this is that, anything below today's lows, right? Your next level down is going to be, the lows here, right? So the 34.65 area. If we lose that, it's 50-day moving average possible, right? Not saying in one day, but obviously it could. But you're like at 34.25 next on that one. So a little bit rough there on Amazon here so far. But we'll see. We'll see. It could still work its way back above the 80-day. Just, another, hypothesis is that it could be bull flagging here, right? So you got this, right? This. So we got a little bit of flag pattern. It's possible, right? It's hanging in there. It's over the 50-day and the 200-day. It's got to get back above the 80-day on that. So definitely want to keep an eye on there. And then let's take a look at shop. Very similar, very, very similar. It's holding on to the 50-day here so far. Closed below the 80-MA, right? Could be working on its little flag pattern here too. But if some massive selling happens, right, if Elmo comes out, watch out on these names, right? So good stuff there. Robert, what's going on? Going to see it. So what's the blue line on the chart? Yeah. So just so you see what we're looking at here. So the bright blue line is the 8. I'll type it in here for you guys. That's the 8 EMA, so that's the exponential moving average right there. We like it because it's a Fibonacci number, and it really does give us a good perspective of kind of the intermediate trend or kind of the short-term trend of a stock. So we like to see it moving. We like to see it moving up. We like to see price above it. And that usually tells us that, hey, things are looking pretty good, right? So you kind of see here we close above it here on the 80 MA. We just kind of ride it up a little bit, and it gets back below it, and it's kind of like watch out, that type of thing. So when we're under it, we get a little bit cautious, right? That type of thing. When we're under it, it just kind of works its way down. We're over it. We're pretty happy, right? That type of thing. So so the 80 MA, we like that one. It's a cool Fibonacci number. So good. So good stuff, guys. Wow, so awesome chart requests tonight. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. And guys, tomorrow's Friday. We've got inflation numbers in the morning, so we'll see if that shakes things up a little bit and gives us some more clues into the market direction. And should be a good time. We're looking forward to a good Friday, and I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you bright and early here on YouTube for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And until then, stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And we'll talk to you guys soon.